Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for having me be part of ISA, and thank you to everyone that's tuned in right now. Um, I'll just give you a brief bio about myself. Um, I am a classically trained saxophonist. In fact, I studied very briefly with Dr. McAllister. Um, and I kind of fell into the world of repair in 2012 um, by working at Music Medic. And I believe next month, I believe the owner of Music Medic, Kurt Alterac, is giving a presentation, which it will be really great. But that's where I really got into this field and learned the ins and outs of saxophone repair. And I truly am a saxophone repair specialist. I do not work on any other instruments. I have in the past, but now I just strictly work on saxophones. And another important thing about the end plug, you should not tighten down the neck screw to the end plug. You can, get it so it's not all loosey-goosey here, but you don't want to crank down really hard because over time that can misshape the receiver, and you may find one day you pull your instrument out to put it together and the neck doesn't want to actually go into the receiver because it's become misshapen over time, or shrinks down. So don't tighten the screw down unless the neck is in the receiver. If you care about the finish of your horn, and if you have a professional level saxophone, I feel like you should care at least a little bit, because even though most of us may only get a few horns in our lifetime, it does affect the value and the longevity of the instrument. So if you think about like a Mark VI or something, the most valuable ones are the ones with original lacquer. Even if it's mostly gone, they're still more valuable. But if you do find one that is pristine with lots of its lacquer left, someone obviously took very good care of it or didn't play it much, but that's going to help the longevity, the resale value of your instrument. And you should think about those things because you never know. You may want to upgrade your horn at some point. Even when you do swab, there can be tiny particles of moisture left inside. So if you have the pads open, the moisture's allowed to escape. So one note about those pads and some other pads that are sprung closed all the time, those tend to be the pads that go bad or wear the fastest because they have constant pressure from the pad to the tone hole. You may find on your horn right now, if you play or even just finger a low E flat, it may be really noisy, or your side keys get really noisy. Those pads are sprung closed all the time, so the felt inside of the pad is becoming compressed more rapidly than like the keys on the stack that are sprung open. So you can adjust that just tiny amounts at a time to ensure that pad's closing. Now, if you go too far with that adjustment, so if you screw that down too much, I'm going to turn my horn this way, then none of these keys are going to want to close because it'll get stopped early by the screw up here. Does that make sense? Yes. So that would be bad. And that's why I urge using caution, doing small amounts at a time and checking it by playing it. And if you begin to feel some kind of resistance in the right hand notes, then maybe you turned that screw too far. Not being able to play below a G is going to be a much bigger issue than not being able to play a clear low B flat or something. So just be careful. And again, if you're not comfortable, seek out help from someone who is, whether it's a repair tech, a fellow saxophonist who's more comfortable with it. Just so everyone's aware, the question is about if you play an A with the octave key, you can get this fuzziness or airiness or buzzing, however you want to describe it. That's pretty common. It's even more common on tenor saxophone, I think, where you get a lot of airiness. So that's the A, the high A is the first note that engages the neck key and opens that. Okay, so we're going to target the pip on the neck. My go-to fix for that is to use, let me find it.